done an update to the chemistry system, and I've started to build some electricity related stuff. So basically, I'm doing a generic electricity system which can then be used to manufacture a bunch of different spells. Rather than doing a bunch of spells individually, I figured we could do a system that has interesting universal rules that then can apply to a bunch of different scenarios, and we can leverage that in a ton of different ways and be creative with it. So anyway, what we've got here is I've got a source block over there, which has a they're both physics actors, and this one, the golden one over on the right, has a source actor component which is generating an electric field which expands out like this. Basically, it grows in strength over time. The arcs get bigger and bigger and bigger, and then when that volume overlaps a conductive material, whether that's another physics actor or even the player, it arcs to them and then inflicts damage, applies other effects, and whatever. So I've got a couple of different examples that I'll run through. So source blocks can interact with other source blocks, so you can see that when the overlaps, the expanding electric potential of either of them, when they meet, if there's a potential difference, a difference in electric potential, then they arc to each other. The particle effects at the moment are placeholders. I think Atha's making some new electricity particle effects, so we'll chuck those in later as well. Basically, it's just a placeholder beam that just appears in between them, but that'll be like a more realistic electrical arc. So as you can see over here on the left, this one is getting big, and when it collides with these ones, it has a really big arc. Boom, really thick. So the ones that are closer together, they have small electric potential because they haven't been growing for very long, and then when the big ones collide with them, it dynamically scales the parameters of the electric arc, so more potential is built up. So the volume is louder, the pitch changes, different sounds can spawn, and the size of the emitter can change as well, so it can change color and it can change in width and things like that. So bang, like that. The rate that they charge can change, so this one is a really slow growing one. This one doesn't even have a physics volume. They don't need to be bound to physics blocks. It's a separate actor which can be put on anything. And I'll show you in a moment. I can attach it to projectiles as well. But any actor. And then this one here this one's expanding quickly and it's zapping, etc. So physics is enabled. This one here I think is attached to a constraint. I wonder if I can push it. Yeah. So that's cool. You can see it swinging around, and then as it comes into contact, it arcs. We have some Faraday cages over here. So the electrical potential, it can interact with any object, any static mesh or whatever that is tagged with or has a specific type of collision that is metallic or basically just conductive, and then basically the arc will hit the nearest point on the collision, just like electricity. It'll take the shortest path of travel through the air, and then it goes to the ground through the material. So if I jump in the way now, it'll zap me, but if I'm behind the Faraday cage, basically electricity can hit this as much as it wants, and it's going to go through the metal and down into the earth rather than zap me through it. And you can look up Faraday cage if you're interested in that, but basically you could have metal suits of armor and whatever and be immune to electricity, or maybe be like a lightning rod, who the fuck knows. Anyway, so the character can be shocked, so if I jump in the way, you can see I'm getting zapped now rather than the block over there. It's because I've got a collision that detects the electricity. This is a Tesla coil, which is probably going to destroy my FPS because it's scaling so quickly, but basically it can strike multiple at once if they all overlap together, and yeah, anyway, a cool idea for an ability in the future. And now, so here are some of the abilities that we've got. So if I press 1, I can spawn an electrical potential in the palm of my hand, and then when that touches something like this rod, it'll arc. So bum 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 bum, arc, just like that. Bum 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 bum, arc. Yep. And then the other ability over here, so if I press 2, I can spawn a projectile and launch the projectile, and directly after that projectile is launched in the execution chain, it gets applied the same electric effect, the expanding electric field effect. So you can see it expanding like that. And then the projectile is persistent, so it continues to expand like this, and it'll continue to grow into arc until it disappears. And it also uses the same, it's actually, it should be a metallic projectile because wooden materials don't conduct electricity particularly well. So I'll change that into metallic in a second. But basically, if I throw one of these and then throw a flammable one, you can see that the systems are actually interacting there. So the electric projectile is actually, oh, it's sort of broken now, but the electric projectile can catch on fire. It can catch on fire just like oh my god, is this not working now? Oh, anyway, that's a bug. Anyway, that's just the elemental systems interacting, and obviously it needs a little bit more work, but I'll get to that in a sec. So that is the chemistry system for electricity. I want to do a few more abilities, so things like maybe like spawning a fucking Tesla coil or something could be interesting. You could spawn perhaps like autonomous entities that emit electricity like that, and they arc things around them as they move around. You could throw a projectile, and then at the impact point it could set up a electric potential thing, so rather than it like bouncing around, is like you could plant it somewhere. Yeah, all kinds of cool ways that I'm gonna play with that.